that to you.
I'll give you that.
Give you that.
You realize we still have a lot of work to do.
Well, aren't we, Mr. The Glass is Half Empty?
Cheer up, guys.
So, get excited.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Okay, it's showtime.
Hey, it is showtime. Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to The Edge this morning. We appreciate you joining us. Oh, we've only got 3 of us here today. Sometimes there's 5, and today there's 3.
Well,
All
I'm
right.
large, so we'll call me at least 1.5.
Oh,
you're so silly.
We've got Eric Johnson is in L.A., Platinum Rock Legends, rock in L.A. tomorrow night. So Eric's in Los Angeles. Chris is in Florida. Brendan Shanahan's in studio. Tabitha Hassell's here. Tabitha, you're not wearing black today.
I don't wear black every day.
Most days you do.
So, no, you know what? You can tell if I'm...
You don't look militant today.
Well, that's Eric's not here, so she doesn't have to fight. I feel like I'm in the Gaza Strip, and this
Oh
I've
my
got
God.
Peloton.
With all due
Palestine
respect to
and
what's going
Israel.
on there,
I-
of course.
I actually wear way more blue than I wear black.
How about that? And I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. Appreciate everybody joining us today. Fastest 2 hours of radio, lots to get to as well. Once again, as always, we welcome your phone calls, 636-695-2915, 636-695-2915. It's May 20th already. We've already zipped right through May, getting ready to embark on June. For those who live in the Missouri area, I know we've got listeners from all over the place, but it's going to get hot over the weekend. We're talking close to 90.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be great for those of us who love warm weather and have missed it because, as we know, spring just disappeared.
What about those of us whose ACs don't work well?
That would not be good either. Then it's a bad thing. But anyway, weather's supposed to get better. Might get a little bit of rain today, but hey, let's enjoy it. Thursday is here, Friday. Coming up at 9 o'clock today, Coffee Anderson from Country Ever After.
Oh, so exciting.
Is going to be joining us on the phone to promote what he's got going on with his music, with all of his appearances, the show, Country Ever After. He joined us before. He's going to be at the lake this week in his first lake experience. If anybody has any advice for him or suggestions or
Stay out of the water.
knowledge or anything, let us know on Facebook. 100.7 The Viper, of course. We love it when you share the show as well. If you do, 100.7 The Viper on Facebook. And, of course, we are also on YouTube now, The Morning Edge. Correct, Tabitha?
That is correct. If you go onto YouTube and do a search for the Edge Morning Show, we will pop up. I think we have a whole 82 subscribers, so please, if you see us,
that's
subscribe.
subscribers. That does not mean it's people who just go in and check it out.
And
So that's
not only that, but
big
that
deal.
only tells us about the subscribers that are registered subscribers.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, there's a lot more on YouTube that hit it than what subscribe.
Yeah, we've been getting quite a few views over there.
So, of course, share the show as always. Let people know 100.7 The Viper on Facebook. You can also catch us on our web stream, which is viperrocks.com. Once again, viperrocks.com. Okay. Tomorrow we got a big show tomorrow. Promote it now at 8:15 tomorrow. Colonel Joe Adams is
I
going
can't
to be
wait.
joining us. I mean, he was blowing up the lines last week. He joined us last week, of course. The man, if you hadn't met before or heard us talk about, worked and trained armies in 40 countries, spent 12 years on the border saving women and children, $1 million hit on his head from the cartel, gave us an inside look to what's actually going on. He suggested he come on last week at the end of our conversation because we already spoke to him for 45 minutes. He thinks he knows what the issue is. He doesn't think. He says he knows what the issues with guns in St. Louis and the crime and how it's being. And he said he wanted 10 minutes with Tashar Jones.
I would love that.
He's like, we could take care of this really quick. Now, he's more old school and not sure that would ever work in this day and age.
And
but if you want
yeah,
to
that's the
get
problem.
things done, sometimes you got to go old school.
Well,
Yeah.
and you do. And we've talked about that on this show before. You know, people don't like to hear it because they say it violates civil rights. But I'm telling you what, if we even just went back to stop and frisk.
I'm all for people to stop. I'm all for people living and the shooting stopping.
Absolutely.
And
Whose
stopping
rights?
the illegal guns that are being coming in.
Exactly.
Well, he's going to get into all of that.
Well, I'm
the gun
glad.
trade, how it's coming into St. Louis, what's happening. Because if anybody knows, it's former Colonel Joe Adams. So he'll join us tomorrow at 8:15. We'll have a 45-minute conversation. I hope that's enough time.
It's not.
It is not.
It's not.
Last week,
That's why Tashara is like, I can't just give him 10. It'll be 50.
She wouldn't
'Cause he
want to
can
talk
go
to
on-
him at all.
Oh, yeah, I know.
so
That was a joke.
So that's 45 minutes for Joe. We got then at 9 o'clock. I'm really looking forward to it. Wesley Bell has agreed to come on and talk with us. St. Louis County St. Louis County prosecutor. Maybe he'll be the executive someday. Who knows? To come on and talk about some of the programs that they got trying to teach young African-American men how to deal with traffic stops. Awesome program they implemented. Also getting people in talking about domestic violence, regardless of what people think about what he is doing right now from a law standpoint, which is his job. And you hope things are going decently, at least in St. Louis County. They are being very proactive with some programs. We'll talk about issues with him.
Well, at least he's doing something.
And he's willing to come out and talk to us. And it was easy, very easy to get him. So he'll be coming on tomorrow to talk to us at 9 o'clock. So we will be packed on our Friday edition. And who knows, maybe we bring a guest in, maybe we don't. I don't know. But it's just us today, the three amigos, as we continue to bring you what we can.
Does that mean I have to speak Spanish now?
Go for it.
I can invite you to my volleyball game and ask you where the bathroom is. After that, we're done.
Yeah, well, there you go. Here we go. One of the main topics we're going to start with today is this double shooting that happened Saturday night.
Oh, right. The two different incidents.
And we've talked a lot.
It's mind-boggling.
You have Barbara Goodkin driving in a vehicle on Delmar, headed east Saturday night. She shot through the back of their vehicle. So the back of their vehicle gets shot as they're just driving down Delmar on their way back home to Clayton where they live. They had dinner at Mano's.
And can I add to that a little bit? Because I talked to a bunch of different people last night.
And you're all over Facebook, too.
I have been on Facebook about it. So what I was told last night by a friend of mine is that what actually happened, because I'm thinking, who would just come up and shoot them from behind?
Exactly.
The people who shot them were actually driving past them and fired shots at them.
Okay.
Is what I'm told.
That's
what I'm told.
And that's not what I heard.
Turned and fired
So
back.
that's great.
And, well, as they were driving past the Goodkins vehicle, they fired shots at them. So it may have been from a backward angle, but it was as they were driving past them. So, and that's what...
That would make more sense.
It makes more sense, but and I'm sure you're going to get to this, I've been making a lot of Facebook posts about it because to me, they had that press conference the other day where they're like, oh, it's probably a robbery. I don't think it is a robbery. I really don't.
Were they robbed?
There is no way in hell.
No, they weren't robbed.
There's two things, and we'll get to them. There's no way in hell
They
these
didn't
were
even try to
robberies.
rob them. They shot them.
No way in hell.
They didn't try to pull them over.
This
They didn't try to
is more
stop
random
them.
than it is robbery.
Right. It's very strange.
Is there still the random, getting into gang initiations? Is that still happening?
You know what? Somebody commented to me that it could be a gang initiation. I'm going to tell you right now that it's not. But that's only my opinion, though, is that it's not. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us know anything, but
more to it.
I think there's more to it. But the
So
guy
do
in
I.
Brentwood was robbed. They did take some items from him.
Yeah, it is it's interesting. Dr. Sergei Zakharov, he was standing on, after this shooting happened, once again, just to give you the timeline, many people know, but just to make sure, after the first shooting happened at about, 10:50 on Delmar, by the way, the driver, Stan Goodkin, was able to make it to the hospital. And as somebody said in the Facebook post,
Thankfully,
he had a cell phone in his pocket, like a pocket on your shirt. The bullet hit the cell phone and saved his life. But I can also tell you this. I know a family member who said that he wished that he wouldn't have had the cell phone in his pocket right now.
I'm sure that would be such a
Really?
difficult situation.
Because he watched his wife die
Yeah.
in the front
I
seat.
get it.
He watched her die. He watched her get shot and die. And watching her die as he's driving to the hospital. So, he never took any bullet to the leg. If you see any reports of that,
I've not heard that.
Yeah, the family member told me that as well. So,
But we have to think about that. If he got shot and where his cell phone deflected the bullet from his front, then he wasn't shot from behind. He was shot from the side
they
from...
said that they thought that the bullet ricocheted off.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
that makes
the bullet
more sense.
ricocheted off.
Why it didn't go through the cell phone if it was a
Correct.
direct shot.
Correct. So that happens.
Which is
able to drive.
pointless. A senseless, pointless crime.
He's able to drive to the hospital. Then about an hour later, you have Dr. Sergei Zakharov, who's standing on the corner
Right.
waiting for an Uber at Bonefish Grill, right by the Drury Inn, right in Brentwood.
Right.
Right in freaking Brentwood. And this is where it's rumor, we have not been told by Major K Squad or police, but he was shot while standing there in the corner. And if you look at Facebook posts of witnesses who spoke to police or say that they did, you're talking about 10 shots and him getting shot 5 times.
9. I think he was actually shot 9 times.
9 times.
But then somebody else told me 5 times. So I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, five times.
Five,
And
six,
then-
7, 8, 9.
And then
somewhere
we
in
were
that range.
told by the doctor's friend that some things were taken from him. He didn't have a
Yes.
vehicle there. He was at the airport. He took an Uber from the airport to have dinner at
But he
Bonefish
probably
Grill.
had luggage, I'm assuming. He came straight from the airport to
so
Bonefish
is he
Grill.
then he'd have to be staying. Maybe not.
I
Or
would
a
think
bag.
that he had a
Yeah,
bag
even
of
if he
some
just had,
sort.
like,
Long
an
story
overnight or
short, his items were taken.
Right.
To me, it's not a rob. This was and police.
I will never
matched-
believe.
Police matched ballistics to both
Correct.
shootings. Okay, then it's like, are there connections? There's been rumors here. There's been rumors there. Police matched it, same person or persons, and they said it could have been. They said yesterday it could possibly be robbery, but they haven't said. Word from that we're getting at Fox 2 is the investigation is still going on, and it's going to continue to go on. And there's a big press conference at 10 o'clock this morning. And when I say big announcement is what we were told. We started promoting it last night. We were given some information at Fox 2, and likely they have a guy or people.
I hope
Because
so. I hope so.
it is what we're hearing, and that'll be at 10 o'clock on Fox 2.
I'm going to watch that here at the station because I will still be here at 10 o'clock.
So,
But what do you think?
from the Facebook line, there was a St. Louis business owner who knew both victims. What are the odds?
I actually know 3 people who know both victims.
Who knows?
But St. Louis is a small place.
$30,000 is the reward that's out there, or we'll see if they're having a press conference at 10, they're announcing somebody. In the news business,
I hope so.
that's what happens. And I have
That'll be huge news.
yes. Well, we think.
If that's the case, it'll be huge.
Because number one, we know who it is. Number two, do we have somebody in custody or if we've made an arrest?
Right.
Or 3, what the motive was, because that's where we are right now. But there's one thing that's for certain. It's that 2 families have been devastated. And I happen to know, I have a friend who is related to Barbara and was with Stanley, the driver, her husband, yesterday.
That's tragic.
And the family has been living this nightmare going, was it robbery? Was it
can't
random? Were there ties here? Was something going on behind the scenes that we didn't know about?
Sure.
Do the victims know each other in any way, shape, or form, or just people who have common?
There's rumor that they did, but there's no proof. And the major case squad police, when they came out yesterday, they basically said there's no connection. That's what they said.
I hope they
yesterday.
look into that further. And maybe they have it. Maybe that they'll talk about that today in the press conference. But here's my thoughts. And not that my thoughts mean anything. Obviously, I'm not a detective.
No, your thoughts mean something.
I mean, it's only my opinion. But my opinion is that what are the odds that these same people, and the police have said it was multiple people in one vehicle, that these people shot these 2 individuals in separate incidents in a short time
hour.
span, and neither one of them, in my opinion, looked like a robbery. Because I'll tell you what, as far as the anesthesiologist, Sergei Zakharov,
an anesthesiologist.
I mean, think about this. Who shoots 2 separate guns, according to a witness account, which is on Facebook, that anyone can read? According to this Facebook witness account, he was shot with two different weapons by 2 different people. How is that a robbery? It shot multiple times. You don't shoot somebody multiple times
Not
in a robbery.
No,
not over some belongings. He didn't even have a vehicle. It wasn't a carjacking. It just doesn't work that way.
I guess from Delmar to Brentwood isn't horribly out of your way to just be cruising around.
Not at all.
But still.
And then it goes into effect all of the violence that we have throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area, not just the city. County crime is up as well. Is the person here? Is it somebody that's local? I mean, what's going on? Is people start to speculate? Is it just violence? Is it gang violence? Is it a hit? All I know is that when the major case squad is out in the public begging for the public's help, and they don't normally do that. They just don't. I mean, they'll ask for help where they can get it, but they were begging. Right. Help us yesterday for information.
Yes.
Begging, which was like, how and what? Does that mean they have nothing to go on since Saturday? And let me tell you something. The major case squad, kudos to you men and women.
Absolutely.
Because what they get done is absolutely amazing in the time periods that they get done.
Right.
the best of the best at doing what they do.
It's cliched to say
And for
that it's
them
48 hours, but it really is. That's the best time to get all the
Oh,
info
no
you
question
can.
about it. You know, and a lot of people who listen know I write a crime blog, which is why this case has a lot of interest to me. And I don't write about just cases that are just your random cases that it's gang violence or it's domestic. It's cases I like that stick out like this one where it doesn't add up. The puzzle pieces don't fit. Something's not right here, in my opinion. When you see, here's obviously, I'm throwing this out there. This is probably far-fetched. You guys are going to think I'm crazy. What if Zakharov's homicide was targeted and then they went and shot the other victims just to make it look like it's not targeted?
Anything's possible. But the first shooting, Tabitha, was on Del Mar.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that wouldn't work then.
Yeah,
I
they
keep
have to go
thinking
the
it's
other way
the
around.
opposite way around.
Or they did
I've got it
in
stuck in my head
advance.
that
Let's
it's the
make
opposite
this
way
one
around.
here. Yeah, but if you're doing
That's
that, are
probably
you
not the
really
case.
thinking about ballistics being matched when you're in that state of mind? Because we obviously got to be talking about somebody who's very mentally disturbed.
If it's a professional, yes. But if it's not, then no, of course not. But you're right. That's probably
well, they told
not
us
the
all
case.
that they have was video, and we saw it on Fox 2.
Of the vehicle.
Yeah, a smaller silver SUV, and it looked new. To me, it looks new. I looked at it about 100
I thought it looked
times.
newer, yeah.
So you would be able to hopefully find, the vehicle. But that's where they are. That press conference is coming up at 10. We'll continue to talk about that and try to answer your questions. If you have them, you can certainly let us know on Facebook at 100.7 The Viper, but it's certainly not adding up at this point in time.
And I have a feeling that we're going to have so much more to talk about tomorrow after we hear the press conference that maybe there will be things that we can pull out of that.
Yeah, Colonel Joe tomorrow, 9 o'clock, or 8:15, we'll talk to him and then talk with Wesley Bell because we got Wesley tomorrow. And guess what? He's right there in the midst of that. I mean, he's a prosecutor, county prosecutor.
Yes.
So he could certainly hopefully share some information. We'll see where the investigation is at that point in time. What do you know? That's 20 minutes down the drain. Right after that. Wow, that was fast. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue to talk about this. Plus, oh my, oh my, oh my. Did you see that Republicans in Congress are now, this is getting big, they want an investigation, full probe of the Wuhan lab.
Yes.
Oh.
About possible U.S. funding behind the COVID outbreak. And this isn't just me giving an opinion. Last Monday or Tuesday, Rand Paul, he did associate Dr. Fauci with the Wuhan lab. He did.
That's kind of been rumored for a while.
We played the sound. Man, it's going to get interesting.
Yeah.
It's not going away, that's for sure. We'll get into that as well. Plus, if anything else is on your mind, let us know. You can give us a call as well, 636-695-2915 with Brendan Shanahan. Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. Back right after this on this Thursday, May 20th.
Complete with a 2-year warranty from Allstate. Time to go full-on summer with half-off top brands this year. Shop Memorial Day savings at eBay today.
The Edge.
Hello, St. Louis and St. Charles County. This is John Londoff Jr. along with my good friend and partner, Jimmy Sappho. Jimmy, folks are wondering how Johnny Londoff Autoplex has become the fastest-growing pre-owned dealer in the area so quickly. Are you kidding me?
Sir, for over 80 years, folks have trusted your family to give the best customer service, a great selection, and the lowest prices possible.
And don't forget our free lifetime powertrain warranty on most vehicles on the lot.
Visit us in St. Peters
and at LondoffAuto.com.
Listen to my voice. K4 Fitness and Hot Keto Plus in Warrenton, Missouri. Full 24/7 fitness gym, batting cages, martial arts, dance, and more. Personal trainers, we got that. Lose weight and look great, we got that too. Don't just get a gym membership. Put your kids in one of our kids programs and work out at the same place at the same time. Bonus. Mention Viper and we will give you your first 2 weeks free. 636-456-5425. That's 456-KICK. Or K4Fitness.com.
Tired of lying awake, tossing and turning, just hoping for a few hours of sleep? Get the sleep you crave with the one-of-a-kind Tempur-Pedic. Only Tempur-Pedic uses proprietary Tempur material that continuously adapts and responds to your body to relieve pressure, so you get deep, uninterrupted sleep all night, every night. The Tempur-Pedic Summer of Sleep is going on now. Take advantage of our best offer of the year and experience your best sleep of the summer. All Tempur-Pedic mattresses are on sale with select savings up to $500. Learn more at TempurPedic.com.
Remember the beautiful pop and hiss listening to a brand new vinyl album? The warmth in the air, the magic of the sound. Vinyl can't be replaced, and vinyl is back. TheFinestVibes.com sells thousands of premium and collector's vinyl with hundreds of albums under $20, delivered straight to your door. Leonard Skinner, Bob Dylan, The Beatles, Prince, AC/DC, Queen, Frank Sinatra. TheFinestVibes.com has them all. Shop now. TheFinestVibes.com.
Travers Automotive and RV is open at their newest location, I-70 and TR Hughes, with an awesome selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Travers Automotive and RV has Ford, Chevy, Ram, Lexus, BMW, Dodge, and Nissan, as well as new RVs from Mesa Ridge and Open Range, and a huge selection of used RVs. Travers Automotive and RV has the largest inventory of lifted truck and Jeep Wrangler in the market. Travers Automotive and RV in their newest location, I-70 at TR Hughes. Online at TraversAutoandRV.com.
Now, back to the Edge Morning Show.
Hey, welcome back to The Edge, everybody. Brendan Shanahan's in studio for Chris Knight, who's in Florida. Tabitha Hassell's here. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. Eric Johnson's in L.A. with Platinum Rock Legends as they get set to rock a military base there tomorrow night, which is a really cool experience. I know Eric was looking forward to that. We appreciate you joining us for The Edge, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. The fastest 2 hours of morning radio right here. You can share the show. We love it when you do on Facebook, 100.7 The Viper. Once again, 100.7 The Viper. You can always call in as well, 636-695-2915. And, of course, catch us on our stream at ViperRocks.com. Once again, that's ViperRocks.com. Boy, we certainly lit a fire when it comes to this story. A lot of people watching, a lot of people talking about it. How about talking about the two murders that happened Saturday? Yeah, it's a big story. Press conference at 10 o'clock today. Will the Major Case Squad announce that they have a suspect? Will they give us some more pertinent information? I know that our station has the idea that, yes, that's what's going to happen
I hope so.
today.
I really hope
They told us last night that they were going to have the press conference today. We started running it last night on Fox 2, this morning as well. And you don't have these press conferences unless you have... Well,
they have to have an update, obviously.
You have an arrest or you know who the person or people are who did it. And because they just did a big, long, lengthy presser yesterday. So in my opinion, they got to know who the person is or people, and they'll let us know who they are, and then we'll go from there. Or there's an arrest.
I hope there's an arrest.
There could be an arrest too.
These families need justice. They need to know who did this, and then they need answers.
And in the first break, I talked about that. A friend of mine is friends with the family, was with Stanley, the guy, the man who lost his wife on Del Mar as they were driving home from Paul Manos, lived in Clayton. Instead of the cell phone being in his pocket and the bullet hitting it and saving his life, he says he wished that he didn't.
That is so sad.
It's so anybody sad. That's lost anybody in their life, whatever, death is hard, especially when it's a tragic, traumatized situation.
Absolutely.
Like that was.
And to live that long in life and have it end that way is exceptionally tragic.
So that's a big story, 10. It also brings up violence all over the place. And we know that we've got a serious issue in St. Louis City. Crime in St. Louis County is on the rise as well. From the Facebook line, I was driving 170 in the express lane, or I-70 in the express lane. I'm assuming that means I-70 because there's no express lane on 170, but there is on 70. Lane about a month ago, the driver in the car in front of me stuck his arm out the window and fired 4 random shots across the highway.
Oh, yeah. Not shocking at all.
I backed off. I've never seen that. I backed off because I felt they would take shots at me if I tried to pass.
I've seen it twice.
Oh, yeah. There was a few months, probably last summer now. Do you remember the randoms that were happening on 270? They're sort of going towards Illinois.
They were just random because we're starting to get people on the Facebook line talking about random.
Right. One happened right before I went by, and all you saw was the dude laying on the ground. They had a screen out and everything.
I remember when that happened.
Yeah, and it was the big semi wound up. He was shot. He swerved in front of the semi, and the semi just destroyed the car. But that was when there was probably like 2 or 3 right in that area.
Right.
It was crazy.
And this is nothing new. This has been going on. I mean, since at least I was first aware of it back in like 2012. So it's nothing new. I mean, these highway shootings in St. Louis have been taking place for a long time, and it's on all the highways. The 2 I personally witnessed were both. One was at Brentwood in 40, and the other one was at Hanley in 40. And the car that people shot at the one in Brentwood, they actually pulled off at the exit at the same time as me and stopped and got out of their vehicles. I mean, it's really crazy when you think about it. When you're driving down the highway, that you have to be worried about people shooting at you, or being caught in crossfire. It's insane.
The 170. You're driving 170 these days. You have to worry about like you're right on the border at Waco, Texas.
Well, we were told on Monday when we had Dallas Thompson on from the Missouri Highway Patrol. He says it's not just 170 or 70. He's like, it's every highway.
Look at 55. One of the owners, remember, from Maggie O'Brien's, was shot and killed on Highway 55.
Yeah. Is that the one where he went over the bridge or went to the crashed on a Poplar Bridge? Who was that?
No, that was something totally different. Yeah. This guy, he was just found in his car, shot to death on the side of the highway.
Well, I mean, that's a major story. We're going to continue to talk about it. Last week, this is a big deal, especially when it comes to COVID. Everybody has talked about where it started at one point in time. Bats, did it start in the Wuhan lab? Last week, Rand Paul and Dr. Fauci went at it again, 2 doctors. By the way, Dr. Rand Paul is an ophthalmologist. So when we call him, because I have some people who hate Rand Paul for acting like a quote doctor, and I said, well, he's not a real doctor, he's an ophthalmologist. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
He still has to learn medical,
exactly.
The medical field.
Well, the House Intel Republicans say significant circumstantial evidence. They see evidence of the COVID Wuhan lab leak. Now, last week, Rand Paul backed Fauci into a corner. And I don't know what happened, but when you listen to it, we played some of it on this show. Fauci tried to deny that NIH has ever been involved with the Wuhan lab.
Of course he did.
And Rand Paul made a damn good argument. And I'm sitting there going, I'm trying to be down the middle going, oh my God, Rand Paul is destroying him in this argument. 2 days later, CDC comes out with guidelines. Oh, no mask anymore.
Exactly.
If you're vaccinated, no mask. And all restrictions, because you remember last week, it happened all of a sudden.
Right.
It was like, what? Really? All of a sudden? Oh, okay. Fine.
Exactly.
Well, now, House Intel Republicans say there's significant circumstantial evidence of the leak. So now they want to do a full report on this. They said that and Mike Pompeo is even saying, okay, disprove it, China.
And they can't disprove it.
And they can't, and they won't.
And then China will just walk away and say, no.
And China doesn't care.
Doesn't matter.
And they don't care. I mean, they could have warned the entire world prior to us finding out, because they had cases. They had cases in November, early November, and they told no one.
Well,
they knew what they had.
Well, Devin Nunes, the committee ranking member for the Republican from California, says the problem that we have is this is crucial for health evidence and for health experts and the U.S. government to understand how COVID-19 works, how it started, so that we can quickly mitigate future pandemics. Because if you remember, former President Donald Trump was all over China saying, they're not letting us in, they're not giving us information, we're trying to learn how to deal with this virus. And China wouldn't, we don't know anything.
Right.
And then it starts to hit people, because we know.
Well, they're communists.
It can really hurt people and affect people in major, not everybody, but major ways. It's certainly, as we saw, over 80%, I think 85% of the deaths attributed to COVID were people who were the elderly.
Correct.
Which shows it just took out the elderly and lower immune system. So
it's and the Thanos theory. I mean, you've seen those where it was done on purpose to thin the herd,
Right. And a lot of people believe that it was about population control. That's like a conspiracy theory, but who knows? When they make these different viruses in a lab, you never know, is it really meant to be a biological weapon? The way I feel about it is that if they're making it in a lab, it is probably has some very serious deadly effects, or they wouldn't be making it. You know what I'm saying? It's
as I heard another scientist say, it's more difficult to prove that this started with an animal than it started in a lab.
Absolutely. And there's no way it started with an animal.
Science is on the side of man-made.
I will bet my life man-made in that lab. Absolutely.
1 through 18 were.
And if it happened once, what makes you think it won't happen again?
And what about at the time, all of that professor that was arrested for smuggling vials of vaccine, around the country and to other countries? I think he was involved somehow in the university there in Wuhan. So, I mean, is it connected? Who knows? But as we said many times on this show, we know the CIA has those reports of cell phone usage in that Wuhan lab that died out in the middle of October, where it went from normal cell phone usage for many years, to all of a sudden 1 week in October, 0 cell phone usage. No one was going in and out of that lab for 2 weeks, at least 14 days, no cell phone usage. Something happened where they evacuated that lab. And that's a fact. Anybody can look it up online. It is a fact.
And it appears as if the first cases of COVID-19, as we spoke about yesterday with Dr. Naputi, came right out of the Wuhan lab. But
absolutely.
I know for sure
he had
one
his
worker.
charts, boy. He knew he had all his papers. He was ready with all his facts. So he's got his ass covered. He knows what he's talking about.
No question. And what people don't understand, if you actually go online and you don't wait for the news to come to you, you go in search of the news, you will see that there are actually people in China who did some of this investigative work, and they actually pinpointed that these first people who were infected at this Wuhan wet market, those were secondary infections. Those people did not become infected at the market from eating a bat. They became infected because they were around other people who were already infected.
But it's also the point of which is a better story. You tell people that it started from eating a bat, that's going to go crazy. You tell people that it started in a lab, everybody's going to be like, yeah, of course it was.
I know.
Didn't you see every other movie from the 80s? It was always started in a lab. But if you tell people that it started from eating a bat, then people start to believe it. It's a Liberty Valance effect.
No question.
Yeah. When the rumor becomes truth, print the rumor.
It's insane.
Well, the issue you have now is the fact, okay, it's here. We're studying it, and you're going to continue to study it. And how far will the House Intel Committee get? Are they going to continue to put pressure on China? Where does Joe Biden stand in this? The president of the United States, you think that he would want to know? But right now, we ran a story on this about a month ago. We now know where the virus came from. And then, because the World Health Organization and CDC did a combo report, and you know what? It could be one of 4 things. But the least likely is that it came from a man-made lab.
Of course.
But they never go over and say, well, it was 100% from an animal.
They can't, because they can't.
It was likely.
Right.
It's like the words that are used are, it was likely that it happened this way, or this is what could have happened. Never. This is where they came from.
It's all propaganda.
Follow the science. That's what we say. Follow the science.
The real science, not the paid-for science.
Yeah, nobody was eating a bat full of wild wings and decided to get a virus.
No.
I mean, so we'll see again where this goes. Your thoughts on it as well. 636-695-2915. Because now, is there a possibility of the third wave? We
or
brought
the
it
fifth,
up.
or the 6th, or however many more.
But that's why
they want
everybody's
to invent.
enjoying what we have now. As we found out yesterday, the big news when it comes to the virus, Cardinals finally, St. Louis, finally opening up 100% capacity to Cardinals games June 14th. The Blues are not, and it pisses me off because it's indoor. It's like, give me a break. If the city actually looked at science once again, CDC statistics, they will see the transmission is almost none. Indoors, none. They should allow full people in the Blues, especially when they come back, because the Blues are about ready to get swept.
Exactly.
Get in before you can.
I stayed up and watched that disaster last night. They hung in tight. The Blues played great, but just they couldn't get any calls. They had people who were injured. So the Blues come back. They play tomorrow night and Sunday night, and they get 9,000 people can go into the game.
Now, do they have to wear their mask? I heard from some friends that went to the Denver
I thought
game.
You did inside.
Well, in Denver last night, people did not have to wear their masks.
Okay, that's good.
So, but I don't know what the rule is here in St. Louis.
I want it back to just where the goalies are wearing masks.
Yeah,
that's it.
Don't we all?
Yes, we do. We do. But hey, we're starting to get back to normal. I mean, most places are.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay. Is this about grocery stores?
It is a lot about grocery stores.
Okay. Where are we going with the grocery store
I'm
list?
going with the sheep mentality is where I'm going to start. Because, Schnucks has replaced their you must wear a mask sign. You must wear a mask sign with we encourage you, even though you're fully vaccinated, we encourage you to continue to wear a mask. And guess what?
Why?
People are actually wearing their masks. I'm like, take that darn mask
Why are
off.
people continuing to wear masks?
Because you know what? I know somebody who went to the
Especially
grocery
if you've
store.
been vaccinated.
Exactly. I know a vaccinated person who went to the grocery store yesterday, and they're like, well, they had a sign that said, we still say we recommend wearing a mask. So I wore my mask. I'm like, why would you wear your mask? She said, well, because everyone else did.
Because I paid money for this. It's fashionable. It matches my blouse.
I'm like, don't wear a mask because everyone else is wearing a mask. Be the leader. Be the first person to say, you know what? It's over. I'm taking my mask off. Yes, you're recommending that I wear one, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take it off. We need more leaders. We need more leaders.
Tabitha, it's you. You should do a mask burning.
Well,
event.
no, it's not
like the bra burnings of the 70s.
I would love to do that. I would love to have a mask burning. No question about it.
Mask burning. Okay.
But I'm boycotting Schnucks right now, so I will not be going to Schnucks.
Well, this is what I don't
mask
get.
off.
If science is what everything is about, why would Schnucks or any other store say you need to wear a mask if you've been vaccinated?
They want to continue the control, obviously.
But it's not. That's easy to say, but it's got to be deeper. Oh, they want control. Okay, why listen to both sides?
They're covering their butts.
Okay, well, control. Well, then what's the angle? Control. Just the feeling of control. It's got to be something more.
Of what? I mean, so they believed the science before, the science that said people have to wear a mask and have to vaccinate.
Well,
but
that's
now,
my point. Now you're making my point.
And now the science says, well, you don't have to wear a mask,
CDC
but yet you
said
still
don't
have to.
wear them. You don't have to wear a mask,
But
and they didn't even encourage it if you've been vaccinated.
Correct.
They're covering their butts 100%.
But
Those guidelines.
covering their butts how?
But how?
Just in case anything happens. There are big companies
what
that.
do you mean happen?
You mean it? But if
something were to happen, they don't want to be the ones that said, I was shopping at Schnucks. That's where I know I got it because they're not wearing masks.
Yeah, but they can't say that because
it's bad publicity.
They don't
I'm
contract
telling you
trace
right
anymore.
now.
They don't even contract trace anymore.
Also, the having to show like that they've been vaccinated and things like that. That's part of what the CDC recommends. I literally heard that on a webinar 2 days ago. It was crazy. Right after we were talking about it.
What?
They're talking about how when you're hiring somebody and you want to make sure that they are vaccinated, is it a HIPAA violation? It's not a HIPAA violation to ask somebody if they were vaccinated. You know that?
That's what I keep hearing, yes.
Yeah, it is not a HIPAA violation at all. And there was a big argument during this webinar that I got to listen to. I mean, indirectly.
Right.
So it's crazy. All like we were talking, everything that like we were talking about with the Schnucks and everything.
I don't think
the other
it's
day.
about lawsuits though, because A, they don't contact trace anymore, and B, it is impossible to prove where somebody got it.
It is impossible.
It's impossible.
And that's why you can't prove it. And keep in mind, you've also got the situation that was passed with COVID liability in the state, where businesses and schools and churches are not liable. So it's not about lawsuits. They're not covering
They
their
still
asses.
want to be. They still want to be the ones that
they have
aren't.
lost their freaking minds. Is what they have done. They've lost it.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
And the problem is you've got other small business owners because people are stupid. People are more stupid and uneducated than they are about control.
But they're doing it because some of the stupid people who wear, who said, well, it doesn't matter. I'm wearing a mask. I'm not going to Schnucks.
So they're pandering.
Of course they are.
They're pandering.
It's pandering. It's more pandering
but it is,
than it is trying to cover their ass because there's nothing to cover their ass on.
But pandering is covering their ass because they need to keep these customers coming in. So they still want to be able to. That's why they put up that sign that says, well, you don't have to wear one.
Brendan, the problem with that theory, they're also driving customers away.
Yes, they are.
You can't please everybody.
That's the problem.
The whole point is they're trying to
And you
walk that.
can't.
They're trying to walk that line, and as a big business like that, it's that's tough.
Well, they didn't care about pleasing everyone when they told
It's
everybody
really
they
not,
had to wear a
Brendan,
mask.
it's not tough. And you know why it's not tough? It's not tough at all. Not even 1%.
To walk the line?
No. Here's why. Because the CDC already gave them their out. The CDC said, if you've been vaccinated, you don't need to wear a mask. They already gave them the out.
Right, but then there's the uneducated people who just hear one thing and don't hear nothing.
Okay, now we'll go to the uneducated people. That's a whole nother silo. So what? The uneducated people will do, as Tabitha said, what the rest of the mass is doing. They look at them, and if you want to wear your mask, go ahead. But there's no reason for workers to be wearing their mask, according to the CDC, which they said.
But if they're vaccinated,
but at Schnucks they have to turn in their vaccine records,
and that's legal. That's legal for them to ask for that.
Right now, it is.
Yes.
Right now, they can do that.
It's legal, but I feel like it's unethical. That's just my opinion.
And there could be some lawsuits coming as well, because there's about 4 or 5 other different branches that branch off of that where they had no idea that these things could happen when it comes to, quote, asking for it and forcing somebody to wear a mask. And guess what? You can also bring a doctor's note in as an employee and say, I've got a breathing condition. I can't wear this, even if I'm not vaccinated. And if they fire you, guess what? They're going to get their asses sued. This is what, there's so many things about this that they can't do. They cannot fire you. If they ask for it and then you say I can't and you give them a note, they're screwed. Schnucks, Deerbergs, any store.
They can't afford to fire anybody.
Exactly.
That's the big thing. They can't afford to fire anybody. Everybody is hiring, and nobody can afford to let employees.
But then you
go
also have businesses, local businesses, like, well, I don't know what to do because people are just uneducated. And you know what? If I would have been a part of this show for a year, I would be uneducated, because we have an opportunity where we've spoken to the virologists across the country. We've spoken to people like Dr. Naputi who give an alternative view, who back it up with fact and stats and say what's going to happen. And then you see it proved after a year and you're like, oh my God, this is exactly what's happened. And then you see another side say, well, we're not going to show data. We're just following science. Really, where's your data? You find out really quick who's telling the truth and who's not.
Right.
I mean, you really do. Why force people who are working for you to still wear a mask? Now, I know, Tabitha, it's another issue when you can go to any store you want.
Or be vaccinated.
But you don't have to wear a mask. And if the vaccine worked, why are you worried?
Right. Exactly.
If I got the vaccine, if you get the vaccine, if Tabitha gets, we don't have anything to worry about. That's what the media tells us, right?
That's what the media tells us, yes.
We're saved. We're saved. So we don't have to worry about it. So why are you worried if somebody else is wearing a mask if you have it? And why would you get the vaccine, or me get the vaccine, or me be forced to, or you forced to, or Tabitha forced to, telling us that it's going to stop it, but then we still have to wear masks?
And why don't they address...
Why are we worried about somebody else that isn't vaccinated if we have been vaccinated? Were we worried about somebody else not getting the flu shot if we got the flu shot? People, common sense. A to B, C to D.
There is no common sense.
It connects, and it should connect. Do I make sense?
You make sense.
No, it totally makes sense. But that's the whole point, is people don't want to listen to both sides and try to make an educated decision.
And there is a third side.
Sure.
The third side is no one is addressing the people like myself who've already had COVID. There's no category for us.
Oh, there's something called antibodies?
There's no category for people who actually have had COVID, have active antibodies, cannot become infected, cannot transmit the virus, and we have the magic blood in which right now they are seeking. They want us, if you've had COVID, to go to your nearest blood center and donate your plasma for convalescent therapy to help the people who are elderly or otherwise immune compromised who are actually getting very sick from COVID. And guess what? Once you get the vaccine, your plasma is worthless. If you've been vaccinated, your plasma will not help anyone.
A very good friend of mine went and got his first shot, right? 2 days later, or actually later on that day, he started feeling like really, really bad symptoms. Well, he went and tested. Turns out he has COVID. Went back to the doctor, and the doctor said, you're going to have this so much worse than a lot of other people because now we've given you a shot of it, basically.
A double
shot.
dose.
And guess who told us that 3 months ago?
Right.
Dr. Eric Naputi. He said, if you get the vaccine, that's up to you. I suggest only people who have comorbidities or of age get it. I don't think healthy people should be doing that to their bodies. If you're in a desperate situation, sure, go get it. But he said, if you do, you're going to be more susceptible to viruses that come in the future. And the UK project that was just released a couple days ago, which we talked about in the show yesterday, as Dr. Naputi said, for those who may not have been on the show yesterday, the UK project is estimating, predicting 60 to 70% of the third wave deaths will be from people who have been fully vaccinated. If that doesn't wake you up or scare you or make you go, what? And that's published, then nothing will.
Right.
Agreed. And what about...
But people don't want to hear that if we or you or whomever has been vaccinated.
Well, they don't.
They're just forcing us to do it.
I would like to know, and I don't know that anyone knows the answer to this question, if you've been vaccinated, is it possible for you to test negative for COVID? Because, I mean, technically, when you're vaccinated, they are injecting you with the COVID virus. They say it's a dead virus.
Yeah, they say it's,
so, I mean,
it's not enough.
And not that many people who've been vaccinated are getting tested for COVID. They tell you once you've been vaccinated, you don't need to test for COVID. So I'm just curious, if you've been vaccinated, does everyone test positive?
Well, from the Facebook line, business is mandating. And we've had Rob on before to talk about vaccines and what he had to deal with his child. Almost had his child taken away from him because he was using medical marijuana, which stopped his daughter's...
The seizures?
Yeah.
Yes, right. I remember that, yes.
Business is mandating the vaccines are illegal and the CDC is lying. Mandating an EAU will get you sued according to the EUA laws. People need to educate themselves, but people don't have time most of the time. Businesses also need to educate themselves. Same situation.
Yes. Education is key, and it has been from day one, and it's unfortunate that the people who need to be educated have not been.
So when you have this going on, as we're talking about right now, interesting story. My son texted me yesterday from school. I'm not going to get into what school he's at right now. I've talked about it before. But anyway, said, Dad, we're being told we have to get the vaccine to play sports in the fall.
Oh.
Because the school was hosting a vaccine event yesterday. And I've made it clear to people, regardless of what I have to do with my own self and my own dealings, right now I'm not ready to have my child have this foreign substances put into his body. He's extremely healthy. And I've made that public to several, and I've had parents look at me. At first, most parents were like, no, but then when you get hit with media, I see more parents turning around going, yeah, I would be willing. And right now, there's no way in hell nobody's touching my kid with any needles. I'm sorry. It's not happening.
But what does that tell you?
Regardless of what I do to myself, I would not let anything like this happen to my son.
But do you think that means that they're going to,
children.
Are they going to require this in the fall?
Well, that's what I'm getting to right now. And here's what happened. I explained to him. I said, Drake, I promise you they are not forcing you to do this. Yeah, they sent an email home. Everybody's talking about it. So a couple of my friends' parents said it too, that you have to do this. And a couple coaches. I'm like, what? I went back and looked at the email. All it said, and it was interesting how it was constructed. We're having this vaccine event. And then it says, and then once you get it, here's how you upload it on the school website. So that to let us know that that your child's been vaccinated. So I called the nurse yesterday. I'm like, is it true that the school is now forcing kids who are going to play fall sports to get vaccinated? My son was a little bit confused and worried and said that was happening. She said, oh, no, we're not forcing it. We're not forcing it at all because it's only encouraged because the coaches say they don't want to have to shut down practices and have people games because of contact tracing, which, by the way,
it doesn't even exist right now.
The contact tracing doesn't have. She did not know that.
Oh my gosh!
And then I tried to. Then I explained to her. I was like, "Well, you do." She's like, "Okay, it's just encouraged." And she's like, "Yeah." And the coaches say, if you get it, then you don't have to deal with COVID on your team. I'm like, "Well, you realize that the vaccine does not stop transmission, right?" I said, go to the December 8th, December 12th, and December 20th articles from the Pfizer CEO saying much more study has to be done to prove that this would stop COVID, but right now it doesn't.
Exactly.
And she was like, Mr. Faust, I'm only the librarian.
No, the nurse. And I
know.
Well, and I was like, I can send that to you. And she's like, oh, no, I know. I know it doesn't stop. But then I'm like, yeah, but you just said the coach. And this was an adversarial conversation.
Right.
But you just said the coach or coaches say that it stops it. And she goes, well, it is 100% effective for kids. That came out. And I said, the study you're referring to, ma'am, has to deal. Pfizer came out and said that they found it to be 100% effective in kids in regards to symptoms.
Lessening symptoms.
Not transmission.
Correct.
But the whole vaccine issue is, well, you need to get it because it's going to stop COVID.
It's not going to stop
COVID's
COVID.
not going anywhere, just like the flu has not gone anywhere. So we had a good, but she was dumbfounded. A very intelligent nurse, very intelligent, dumbfounded because people just, that we're going to do what they say and that they say and that they say.
Because that's the information being taught right now to medical professionals. Yeah. Because it all comes from the, quote, science, what I call the fake science, the paid for science.
Oh, man, are we all ready to break time?
Yeah, sir.
Damn, we're rocking and rolling. Hey, don't go anywhere. Coming up right after the break, we got your morning headlines. Big time press conference coming up at 10 o'clock regarding the shooting deaths of 2 people on Saturday night. Barbara Goodkin, who was driving with her husband on Del Mar, and Dr. Sergei Zakharov, who was down in Brentwood, standing in Bonefish Grill on the street waiting for an Uber. Major K-Squad press conference at 10 o'clock. I got a feeling you don't have these unless you know somebody.
Yeah.
Unless you know who did it. Whether they made an arrest or not, I have no idea. That's coming up at 10 o'clock. But when we come back from break, our good friend, Coffee Anderson from Country Ever After on Netflix. He's coming to the lake this weekend, his first lake experience. Look out. Coffee hitting Lake of the Ozarks. I wonder if he'll have cameras with him.
Oh, you know he
Country
will.
Ever After hits Lake of the Ozarks.
I am so excited. I wish I could be there. That's going to be so much fun.
If you have some advice for Coffee at the lake, let us know. Call in. You can let us know on Facebook as well, 100.7 The Viper. Also love it when you share the show, 100.7 The Viper. And we're on YouTube at The Morning Edge. Okay, got it all in. Brendan Shanahan, Tabitha Hassell, I'm Vic Faust to Fox 2. Back right after this.
As early as the other shows.
My name is Derek Barker, and I own the Barker Agency. At my office, we spend our days getting folks protection built specifically for them, making your care our top priority. From cars to motorcycles, ATVs to boats, if you can ride it, we can cover it. Even the home you own or the place you rent. You need to make sure you're covered so when this happens, you're not left out in the rain. Without the right protection, it only takes a few seconds for your life to change drastically. And it only takes a few minutes to pick up the phone and speak with a member of my team to make sure you're protected correctly when it does. Call the Barker Agency at 866-D-BARKER or stop by the office at 935 Waterbury Falls Drive in O'Fallon. Make sure to let us know you heard me on the Viper.
Push dirt and boundaries. Seidenstricker Nobe Partners has great financing, lease, and warranty options on our compact construction equipment. Right now, save up to $2,500 on a brand new John Deere compact track loader with a competitive trade-in. Looking for a partner you can trust? Our dedicated service and sales departments are waiting to help. Seidenstricker Nobe, your partner for the job site. snpartners.com.
Offer valid through 5/31/21. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Mom, Ethan's in the tree again.
Ethan, get down.
Can I climb on the swing set instead?
Sounds like it's time to get all your adventure-seeking kids to Holiday World and Splash and Safari. They'll soar on Thunderbird, race against each other on Cheetah Chase, the first launched water coaster, and get the thrills they love on all the wooden roller coasters. Get your family fun off the ground at holidayworld.com.
Free stalking! Free parking! Free sunscreen!
Ben's Moving and Storage in Winsville is essential to the housing market and is open. To keep our family and yours safe, storage and leasing payments are window serviced only. Packing boxes and supplies may be picked up at the window or delivery is available. Our movers use masks, gloves, and sanitizer wipes, and we ask the same of our clients. Our clients have to move and our employees have to work. United as a team, we got this. Stay safe, stay healthy. Ben'sMovingAndStorage.com or find us on Facebook.
This is the Edge Morning Show.
Time for some upgrades? A new deck, a privacy fence, or maybe a whole new look with new siding. But who do you call? What you gonna do? Call Bad Boys Construction LLC. They are locally owned and have over 30 years experience in every kind of fencing, siding, and deck jobs. Free estimates and everything is done right the first time. Bad Boys Construction is veteran owned and gives military discounts. So what you gonna do? Call Bad Boys Construction LLC. Online at badboysconstructionllc.godaddysite.com. On Facebook at Bad Boys Construction LLC.
Now another hour of The Edge Morning Show on KFNS Troy St. Charles. The Edge Morning Show.
Whether you're a pro on the job site or managing properties, clean and safe is your #1 priority. And Lowe's has the pro-grade cleaning supplies you need. We go beyond the basics, bringing you commercial cleaning from top brands like Clorox, Zep, and Rubbermaid. And in larger sizes, so you can take on any cleaning job, knowing you have the quantity you need. Shop Lowe'sForPros.com and have your items delivered or pick up in store. Lowe's, the new home for pros. U.S. only.
Viper Weather with legendary chief meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hi, this is Viper meteorologist Dave Murray with my Thursday forecast. It's a mix of clouds and sunshine, breezy, maybe a spot shower, but really hard to find. 85 for the high. Humidity is kind of in the moderate to high side. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, 68 for the low. Friday, partly sunny, 85. The weekend, Saturday, partly sunny, 85 degrees. Sunday, partly sunny, 89, maybe even 90 degrees for the high on Sunday. From the Viper Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray. Now back to the Edge on 100.7, the Viper.
River River Electric, a Touchstone Energy cooperative. The Edge Morning Show.
Local headlines now with Fox 2's Vic Faust.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Well, I stayed up late last night. I watched the St. Louis Blues. I was happy watching the Cardinals win their second straight game and sweep the series against the Pirates. But I also stayed up and watched St. Louis Blues. Down 3-0. I'm like, let's hold on. They came all the way back. They made it 3-2, had a chance to tie. They ended up losing the game, gave up some open net goals at the end of the game. They're down 2-0, heading back to St. Louis tomorrow night. I really wish St. Louis would open it up to more fans than just 9,000 for tomorrow night. Come on, Tashara. Come on, Tashara. Open it up to the full damn house. Let's show the Colorado Avalanche and other cheap shotting players. And we got, we don't know if David Prahn's back yet or not, because we still have like 3 or 4 Blues who were fully vaccinated that are in COVID protocol. Thanks, vaccine. Appreciate it. But you can't get COVID if you've fully been vaccinated, right? Ask the Blues. Ask the Yankees. Yeah, we're all dealing with that stuff right now. Hey, there's crashes this morning on 271 at 270 westbound that's held up a lot of people. So if you're listening there, you might want to try to find an alternative route. There's some online events today. You can find them at foxnow.com. They're honoring the life of Michael Brown Jr.'s 25th birthday. He would have been 25 today. There's a press conference coming up at 10 o'clock from the Major Case Squad regarding developments in the double murder case of Barbara Goodkin, who was shot at one scene on Del Mar, shot and killed with her husband driving home, and Dr. Sergei Zakharov, who was shot and killed near the Bonefish Grill in Brentwood. That's coming up at 10 o'clock. Major Case Squad isn't having a press conference unless they got major news. I bet they're going to announce who it is. Whether they have that person in custody or not remains to be seen. But police are also searching for a third suspect after Pontoon Beach gas station was robbed. A woman shot. She was shot at more than 24 times.
Oh, my gosh.
In the Vanderloo neighborhood early this morning. Fortunately, she's going to be fine. She was not killed. Work on the new building at Francis Howell North High School begins today. That's big news. And there's a meeting tonight. The school board meeting for Francis Howell about masks for next year. And kids. That's a look at your morning headlines. Hey, welcome back to the show, everybody. You're listening to The Edge. Brendan Shanahan, Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. Appreciate you joining us this morning. Coming up in just a few minutes, Coffey Anderson from Country Ever After will be giving us a call. He's got that Netflix show. He's coming to the lake this week to play. First time at the lake. We'll talk to Coffey. We hadn't talked to him in a while, check in, see how things are going in his life. We've also been talking a lot about what happened in this double murder shooting. And then, of course, what's going on with COVID regarding the mask and the vaccines and the story that I just told. We were going to break. So basically, you don't have to, at my son's school, you don't have to get the vaccine, even though my son said, well, Dad, it's being promoted like you have to get it.
Of course. That's how they want. And it's sad that they're making kids feel that they have to get a vaccine to feel like they fit in. And that's what worries me so much about all of this COVID stuff is the ostracization of kids and other people. They're segregating people to vaccinated and non-vaccinated. And I don't understand why and what effect that's going to have on people. I mean, kids have it tough enough as it is.
Oh, yeah. They're going to make it the short bus.
Yeah.
You got to be on the short bus to take there. You got the mask and no mask bus.
And I mean, how is that going to be? I mean, it's tough enough being a kid. Now they're going to separate themselves by vaccinated and non-vaccinated. It's just wrong. It's wrong. It's like a psychological experiment gone wrong.
And like Naputi said, if the vaccine was really doing its job, do you have to worry about the people that,
right.
Aren't vaccinated yet?
Well, they're not only separating, quote, there. This is another issue. At my church, and they've done a horrible job. They've missed the boat on this over at St. Joseph Cottleville. And yes, I'm calling you out, Monsignor. You did a piss poor job in how you did this. And I'm sorry, a piss poor job. If you've been vaccinated, that's one thing as an adult. And I already said my son isn't. They're gonna open up the church now, but you can sit freely as long as both you and your kids have been vaccinated. If not, there's a section that's roped off over in the corner of the church for people who have not every one of their family members have been vaccinated.
Are you serious?
100%.
Oh my gosh.
Now, do they get communion?
Yeah, well, yeah, you're not denied the Lord. You go up and
But do they have someone come to them?
You have to be in your mask over in the corner. No, you go up.
You
still
go up?
Yeah. Yeah, none of it makes sense.
It makes me
It's
so
like
mad to
walking
hear
to the
this.
magic table at a restaurant and then taking
Well, we already know that COVID doesn't exist when you stand.
Right.
It exists when you stand, but when you sit down, it doesn't.
Yes.
COVID doesn't go
It
below
all
4
hovers
feet.
above your head.
It is. It's a hot air
That's why the
disease.
waitresses still wear the masks, so they don't get it because they're hovering where the COVID is.
Of course.
So that frustrated the hell out of me when I saw
too.
that. I mean,
It's just more segregation.
Exactly.
Vaccinated
And
versus
people
non-vaccinated.
and people pointing. And it's not about health.
It is not about health.
If
No.
it was about health, I would understand it. But once again, people are afraid. They don't want to upset others.
It's about intimidation. They want to intimidate you into getting the vaccine because if you don't get the vaccine, then you're the dirty little group that has to sit in the corner with your mask on, and people can ridicule you and say, well, you don't follow the science. You didn't get your vaccine, so now you have to sit in the corner with your mask on. It's wrong. It is wrong. It makes me so mad. I don't understand it.
And again, to separate people like that, you know that somebody is Judgy Judgerson looking over their shoulder in church like four
No
pews back
question
going,
about it.
Look at them not getting vaccinated. How selfish.
Right.
And that's what they
want to
make
ostracize
no mistake,
people.
they are judging you.
They are
Maybe not all of them.
absolutely.
Not all of them, but there are people that are judging you, and those could be people that are leaders in communities or people that have influence against a lot of other things, and you're being judged.
And
Make
you're being
no mistake.
separated as probably a conservative, a right-wing nut job is what they'll
Right.
say, Trump supporters. And that is how they separate us from everyone else. Because if you're the person who's sitting over there and you're not getting vaccinated, then you obviously belong to this other group that we want to cleanse this country of. And that's exactly, and I'm not going too far saying that, because that's exactly the statements we've heard from people, is that this country needs to be cleansed of conservatives.
And there's still a lot of people who are out there that are on the fence about getting vaccinated. And then you hear that, have you been vaccinated? No. Are you gonna? Maybe.
Well, it's nobody's business.
It's no one's business.
It's become a top. It's
if
the
I've
where
been
to go to high school
vaccinated
now.
or not, I'm not telling you because it's my personal health, and I don't want to tell you. And I have people who don't want me to get the vaccine, and there's people who want me to get the vaccine. So
Same here.
So regardless of what I do,
Right.
it's between me and myself and I.
I agree.
And I'm not asking anybody else if they've been vaccinated. I haven't
I
asked
don't
one
either.
person.
People tell me, and I'm
it's
like, well,
not
good for you.
our business
No.
because if the vaccine works, we know we're going to be fine.
Right.
Right?
And you hear
So why
the-
do you have to ask other people? Don't get caught up in all the hype.
And you do hear the people go, well, if you haven't been vaccinated yet, you're just not going to do it. You're an idiot. No, that's not true.
If someone tells me that, my fist is going to be in their face. No one has said that to me
Tab's
yet.
got a taser. Stand back.
Yeah, no one has said that to me yet. But I have several friends who've been vaccinated. I said, well, good for you. You
Right.
made the right choice for you. It's not the choice for me. I don't judge them because they did get vaccinated. That's what they wanted to do. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Just
Absolutely.
be informed and then go do it. Don't
That's
just go
that's
like
your
the sheep.
pronoun.
It's not
You know,
about
the
being
vax- trans-vaccinated.
Right. We're all trans-vaccinites here.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
you're not because I don't know about you. No, I'm kidding.
Nobody knows. I'm an enigma
Nobody-
wrapped
Eric-
in an egg roll.
Who knows what's going to happen with Eric when he comes back? He went to L.A. He's
He'll
probably
have COVID 4 more times.
Or he's gonna
I
go
got
get
COVID
vaccinated.
4 times, and I was wearing that mask. Well, it was a wig, but not a mask. 4 times I got it.
he'll get sucked in by all those liberals in L.A. He'll come back fully vaccinated. Well, I hope he does, so we can see if the magnet experiment works.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I actually have a friend who sent me a photo of someone they know that did get vaccinated, in which the magnet actually did stick to their arm. Yes, it really works.
Which one?
It really works.
Which vaccine? Or does it
I
make a
don't know
difference?
which vaccine.
Well, okay, I had to, because people were asking. Here was the note that I got for church. And it's been bad enough already because I am somebody where my faith is important to me, and I'm at Mass every week, and I'm with my kids going every week, and I've been wearing my damn mask and separating and social distancing, and I've taken care of myself like I should.
And they have the best church carnival in all around.
That's right.
Okay. As of a note of clarification, if you have had COVID-19 and have not vaccinated, you are still required to wear a mask while attending Mass. So if you've had COVID-19, which means you have antibodies, and have not gotten the vaccine, you still have to wear a mask at Mass.
I'm going to give you one of my magic shirts that I'm getting ready to have
That's
made.
the first thing. No, this gets better. Then it goes, okay, then that means that according to the CDC, some individuals who have had COVID-19 have caught COVID-19 again, or a variant of COVID. Yeah. And guess what? And a lot of people have had COVID-19 after being fully vaccinated.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
factual evidence.
Yes, it is.
I feel bad for the leadership there. I really, really, really do.
Since you have the antibodies, you should tell people that you have the natural Zeneca. I got the natural Zeneca.
That's a good idea.
yeah.
I'm actually going to have T-shirts made. After Vic tells this story, I will
The
talk all about my
sections
T-shirts.
where the pews are now roped off are primarily for those parishioners who have not been vaccinated and for families with children who have not been vaccinated. So if you're like if I got the vaccine and my kids didn't, you still have to go off to
You're still segregated
You're
into
still
the back group.
segregated to the rope, cornered off position of shame. And then
What age- what ages-
kids,
what are they
then
considering?
kids start looking at other kids, and this is what's worse. Oh, look, they didn't get the vaccine. They have to sit over there in the corner. And then this is the problem. That is a major problem, that the segregation begins in the church aspect of it as well. The ushers will direct you to the sections of the church where you wish to be seated. Then it says, this is it, whether you've been vaccinated or not, we still encourage you
to wear your mask. I knew it.
Even though the CDC says you don't have to.
You need to have a talk with someone over there.
Well, when you touch the holy water and genuflect before you get in the pew, that should cover you, right? That's good. That's
But
like
you don't have to. Okay, as I previously stated, I strongly encourage any parishioner who has not been vaccinated to consider becoming vaccinated. This is that strongly encourage you to get vaccinated.
We don't allow you to take birth control,
This
but
is the
please go get your vaccination.
This is the faith leader of the church.
Yes.
Strongly encourage you to go get it.
And it's not just the Catholic Church. I want to point that
If
out.
you
That's
have a
going to be a lot of
compromised
churches.
immune system, an upcoming surgery, or pregnant, please consult your primary physician about the vaccine. It's because the American bishops have fully endorsed the vaccines available.
Oh, it's so
just-
frustrating.
I just got frustrated that you're roping off sections that
It's
if you don't want to,
segregating
if you
people.
don't want to get the vaccine for your child, that you have to go sit in the corner.
It's a story for another
So-
day. I won't get into it now, but that's why I told people yesterday. It's like the Nazis making the Jews wear the Jewish badge to separate and intimidate people.
Well, how about a happier topic?
Yes.
Okay, because
Please.
the energy is about ready to hit a 10 on a scale of 1
Yeah!
to 10.
He just pegged the meters.
The one and only friend of the show, Coffee Anderson. Coffee, you're listening with Brendan Shanahan, Tabitha Hassell. This is Vic Faust of Fox 2. My man from Country Ever After, the country crooner coming to the Show Me State this weekend. And you've never been to the lake, we hear.
Listen, I've never been to Lake of the Ozarks. There's a lot of water between where I live and where y'all are, so sometimes I just stop there. I am over the moon. Jimmy Allen told me that this is the spot to come and play. Mitchell Tenpenny told me I'm going to have more fun than I could ever imagine on a lake. I also heard it was a conservative county. Do y'all understand Mr. Red, White, and Blue is coming?
Bingo.
To Lake of the Ozarks.
Oh, they know.
Saturday night at 7 p.m.
And
Hello?
if people don't know, look up the Red, White, and Blue by our countryman, Coffee Anderson. When we started talking about you the other day, people are like, oh, my God, I love his Red, White, and Blue. And we didn't even have to say it.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Stay out of the water, Coffee.
Hey, give everybody an update of what you've been up to, you, your wife, your dealings, the health, everything that's going on.
Well, right now, first of all, Country Ever After has over 50 million viewers worldwide.
What?
It is the #1 family-friendly show that they released in 2020. It was in November of 2020, and it still hit #1.
Damn, you're kind of a big deal.
It's because of the people. It's because people want entertainment that they can watch that doesn't discuss topics that kids aren't ready for, that they can sit down and make a memory with. Mr. Red, White, and Blue is almost 70 million streams independently as a country artist. It went TikTok famous. If you have not heard Mr. Red, White, and Blue, please go download the biggest patriotic song of the last 5 years. And that's not my words. Those came from Lee Greenwood when I met him in Arkansas for a fundraiser. So this has been just a crazy, crazy ride. I go back to Nashville next week. I'm recording a couple of songs from a guy named, one of them's from John Party. Another one was with my buddy Jordan Omley. We are making new records. The new EP, I'm going to partner with Sony. They're going to handle the marketing, and I'm paying for the creation of the record. We're going to split the masters down the middle. And more importantly, I'm happy to get out and let people know that we the people are having concerts. That you can come out, take a mask off, put something cold in your hand and listen to me sing and go nuts.
Yo, you picked the right place.
Lazy Gators this Saturday, 7 p.m. at Lake of the Ozarks. I'm bringing my dad. It's going to be his birthday, May 22nd. And so Paul from Country Ever After will be making a showing in the Show Me State. So, right now, Priscilla's health is the best it's ever been, considering that it is stage 4 cancer that she's beating. And she's in Mexico right now.
Talking about your wife, for our listeners who don't know, of course.
Light radiation. The reason why I'm late today is because I was at Ethan's award ceremony for the 4th grade. So he was getting his awards. And I love y'all, but I love him a little bit more. And y'all understand this.
We get it.
Forgive me for being 10 minutes late. But, I've driven around your part of Missouri. There's not much for y'all to do but listen to us and the #1 radio station and the show. So,
That's hey, have you ever tried to sing with a mask on?
have I ever tried to sing with a mask on? No,
Yeah,
no.
okay.
I have 4 children. I don't do much protection.
Hey, once again, we're talking with Coffee Anderson from Country Ever After. If you haven't checked out the Netflix series, you have to. Absolutely entertaining, and that's why there's 50 million viewers worldwide. Hey, for our listeners, and we've had a lot of people that we picked up since you were on the last time, let everybody know a little bit about who you are and what you're about.
Okay. Who am I? Who is Coffee Anderson? I grew up in a small town, Bangs, Texas. My mother taught school. My dad worked at a jail locally. And he is an Army veteran, gave his hearing in the Air Force. And I grew up appreciating what our country was and opportunities for it. And my grandmother, my mother, being African-American, they really went through hard times. So there was not a bathroom segregated for me to go to. There was not a place that only blacks could drink water fountains. When I came into, when I was born, America was open. And so that's the America I grew up in. So I was never taught to see fences, stop signs, barricades for my future. And so when I went to sing country music, people were like, oh, well, there's Charlie Pride and there's Darius Rucker and all those. I was like, well, yeah, they're cool, but have you heard Dwight Yoakam? Because that's who I want to be like. And so I never saw boundaries. I never saw any of that. And I was a basketball standout in high school, but I always wanted to be able to sing because it's much easier on my knees. And so when I started making music that was family friendly, because I wanted people to be able to make a memory at my concerts with my music. And that philosophy has given me an opportunity to make a great living for my family, to make people smile, and also give me time with my children that I wanted.
So you've done 12 episodes this year. Is there going to be another season?
Right now, we're still in negotiation with Netflix on season 2.
Nice.
Yeah, I think you get some power.
Yeah. With 50 million plus out there, you the juice is on your side now.
And if anyone hasn't seen it, you definitely need to get on Netflix and watch the show. And Coffee, we got lucky enough to meet you when you were here in St. Louis last year. It was it was such a great time.
It was awesome at Dr. Eric's house.
At Dr. Eric Naputi's house, that is correct. And when we first heard that you were going to be at Lake of the Ozarks, we were all trying to figure out, can we go? Can we figure it out? I wish we could all be there to see you, because I have no doubt it would be an amazing show. If you've not been, obviously, to the Lake of the Ozarks, as you have not, you are really in for a really fun time.
It won't be your last trip.
No, it will not be.
But
it will not be.
The best part is you've got awesome weather.
Tickets are going crazy right now. I think cabanas are $250. GA is $20, and preferred seating is anywhere between $30 and $100. So it's affordable. It's fun, and people aren't even caring. We could have tripled the price; they wouldn't have cared because they're ready to get out.
No question.
And I think the most powerful candidate we could ever elect is we, the people, that are educated, and encouraged. So I want us to be as encouraged and as educated as we can be, and let's take our country back. Let's take our businesses back, and let's do it together.
You've played before some major audiences before. What's the largest audience you've ever played before, Coffee?
I played in front of 34,000 at Thompson Bowling Arena.
Oh, is that it?
And,
a lot of people.
And I think the most powerful is when I sang in front of a woman named Christy. It was her last day to live, and she wanted me to play a couple of worship songs. I took a guitar and went up to a hospital and sang for her in Sacramento, California. See, it's all in perspective.
So your largest and smallest audience, probably, but one of the smaller ones more meaningful because you're right there. Yeah.
Yeah, both of them were just as special.
Hey, Coffee, when you're as popular as you are, and you're an African American, as you talk about, married to a hip hop wife, and I think when I first met you, you're like, yeah, I love wine. I think I remember you saying something like, I'm a conservative and African American, love wine, I love gays.
Wine and gays.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Get over it.
Right.
And you're you're like 6
The world is what it is.
Are you about 6'6"?
6'5", 225 right now.
Yeah, with a big smile. I mean,
I'm looking trim?
Yeah.
Okay, so my buddy Nick told me I'm 220. I'm lean.
Can you still dunk?
Can I still dunk? No, I can't.
It happens. It goes quick.
It happens. Well, the last time I dunked was last year.
Oh, that's not bad.
This year, but I dunked last year.
Do people try to get you involved in the political side of things, being an entertainer? Because you are.
Yeah.
You put yourself out there as a conservative African
American.
American.
So much without being blatantly obvious. I think. Well, on my Instagram yesterday, I challenged Prince Harry to a pay-per-view in Texas fight.
You challenged who?
Prince Harry? That's amazing.
I just wanted to shut up I wanted to make sure that he understood that I could shut his First Amendment up with the right hook if he needed it.
And he's practically your neighbor.
The thing is don't come over here not as an American citizen when we've opened our arms for you and your wife and your children to come over here safely, and then down our rights because you still have the privileged ignorance of what he came from. So, just in my opinion, me and my brothers can fight, but if you say something about my brother, I'm going to slap the taste out your mouth.
Yes.
And that's how I feel about our country. So 1.2 million people yesterday said we'd pay for that pay-per-view, but he won't.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you really think Megan's going to let him get in a ring with you?
No.
Well, he'll do whatever she says. So
he wasn't here.
You need to ask Megan. Do you have I know you know a lot of people with connections. I'm sure you could find Megan somehow.
I'll get in the ring with her.
Yeah, it would be hard.
Against a double bill.
Hey, so I hope, are people taking care of your accommodations this weekend when you come into the lake, you and your dad?
Oh, absolutely. We're going guided fishing. We're going to do a little crappie fishing. And, dude, Missouri's been good to me. My buddy plays the Kansas City Royals, and that you know how that bleeds over with Missouri and Kansas. And then I played in Sedalia, Missouri, at the Rabbit Festival. You can't make that up.
Rabbit festival?
They bring rabbits and they give ribbons.
Oh, my goodness.
You can play the Horseradish Festival over in Illinois.
What?
Gumbo. Brennan, what'd you say?
The Horseradish Festival over in Illinois. You can play
it's
that.
over in Collinsville, Illinois. Correct.
I'll play anywhere they got to check my name on and the microphone that's hot. I'm a capitalist. Appreciate that.
We need to have an event for you, a Viper event.
Yeah, maybe we
that
will.
You
We'll
can
get him back.
headline. Because at one time, Dr. Naputi, we all talked about having like a concert series, and you could be our headlining
Dr.
act.
Naputi talked about having a concert series, and then
He
he got
did.
rich because he went viral twice on Facebook.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
We can have PRL open up.
Yeah, he's next door to Prince Harry. What?
Well, Eric Johnson, who's on the morning show here, plays in a band called PRL. They're out actually in L.A. right now playing for the military. So
They're
we can
playing
have
at a military base, which is really cool.
So we could have PRL open up for you, and they play all kinds of
I'm
different,
in.
all different
I'm
styles
in.
of music.
Let me know. You guys, first of all, I love your show. I love what y'all stand for. I love that you're able to talk openly, and I appreciate all that you're doing. So you guys let me know how I can help, and I'll be there. For real.
Excellent.
That's Coffee Anderson. Hey, when do you think people can find out? When do you think you might know when negotiations get to a better point where we can start promoting season 2 of Country Ever After? Because 50 million viewers is no joke.
50 million viewers is no joke. Let's talk in about 90 days. Contracts take a while, and let's see what happens from there. But thank y'all for having me, and have everybody go buy everything on Spotify. Download all of the music on iTunes. You don't have to worry about what you're listening to or who's in the room when my music is on. You can live to it, dance to it, drink to it, cry to it, live to it. And that's how you guys can support us. So I appreciate it.
Well, I've always said everybody has a call on their life, whether they realize it or not. I'm glad to see that you found what your calling is, and you're out trying to make people happy, smile, while not being afraid to be who you are. Coffee Anderson, thank you so much for taking time. Enjoy the lake. My friend, Shady Gators will be wild. It might scare you, though, Coffee. I don't know if you can handle it.
Oh, I don't think he's not scared.
Don't get in the water.
I grew up. I spent a little time in L.A. when there were no smartphones. I think I can handle it.
But you will have fun.
We're good.
And for those who are going to be at the lake this weekend, 7 p.m., the one and only Coffee Anderson. Here's a song as we go to break as well. Coffee, we love you, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Love y'all too. God bless you. Thank you, Missouri. See ya.
This is the song. Go to Spotify, Red, White, and Blue. It's very popular as well, and I can tell you this much.
Great song.
I've heard from a lot of people who support first responders who go, man,
Yes,
this song is what it's
absolutely.
all about. You can catch them on Spotify, Country Ever After as well. You're listening. That was Coffee Anderson, Country Ever After. The guy is
So nice. Such a nice guy.
Just an all-around package.
And he really, I mean, we met him in person. He really is a truly, genuinely nice guy.
And I just love that he's not afraid to stand up for who he is, what he is.
Absolutely.
He might be my hero now that he called
it.
out Prince Harry.
He wears it. That's the thing. That's what you love about him is he wears it. He knows, what he is.
Yeah.
He's not afraid.
Brendan Shanahan, Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. Eric Johnson's in L.A. Chris is in Florida. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue on with the Morning Edge, the fastest 2 hours of morning radio. We love it when you share the show as well. 100.7 The Viper on Facebook, The Morning Edge on YouTube. And if you want to give us a call, you can do so at 636-695-2915. Back with more Edge right after this. It's 9:26.
The Edge Morning Show is coming right back.
Experience golf courses from around the world with a trip to Cottleville. That's right, at Benediction Golf in Cottleville, you can virtually play Pebble Beach, St. Andrews, Sawgrass, Augusta, or one of hundreds of other courses around the world at their comfortable indoor facility on Highway N by Rack House. It's BYOB and bays are only $50 an hour, so bring a foursome and compete. Or check your swing with the SkyTrax launch monitor and shot analytics in real time. Benediction Golf, benedictiongolf.com on Facebook and Instagram.
People's Bank and Trust is helping you get a grip on your finances with our new mobile banking service. You can now manage your accounts, check balances, transfer funds, and pay bills all from the palm of your hand. Visit us online at www.pbtc.net for more information and to start using mobile banking. People's Bank and Trust, hometown banking the way it should be. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Travers Automotive and RV is open at their newest location, I-70 and TRUs, with an awesome selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Travers Automotive and RV has Ford, Chevy, Ram, Lexus, BMW, Dodge, and Nissan, as well as new RVs from Mesa Ridge and Open Range, and a huge selection of used RVs. Travers Automotive and RV has the largest inventory of lifted truck and Jeep Wrangler in the market. Travers Automotive and RV in their newest location, I-70 and TRUs, online at traversautoandrv.com.
Midnight Auto Supply in St. Peters carries a full line of automotive parts and paints. They're a PPG Platinum distributor of automotive paint and industrial coatings and auto body shop supplies for over 40 years. Your hometown auto parts store is Midnight Auto. Stop in at Midnight Auto Supply in St. Peters, just off Mexico Road, 447-4000, 447-4000, on the web at mid-niteautosupply.com.
Bentley's Marine and Electronics is open in Lake St. Louis and ready to serve you. Check out their marine section for boat accessories, marine audio, water floats and supplies. Upgrade your vehicle with a new stereo, amp, speakers, reverse camera, remote start, and more. And don't forget the home theater. Shop local with confidence and let Bentley's Marine and Electronics show you that they meet or beat the big box stores. On Lake St. Louis Boulevard across from Denny's. Online at Bentley'sElectronics.com and on Facebook at Bentley's Marine and Electronics.
Hello, St. Louis and St. Charles County. This is John Londoff Jr. along with my good friend and partner, Jimmy Sappho. Jimmy, folks are wondering how Johnny Londoff Autoplex has become the fastest growing pre-owned dealer in the area so quickly. Are you kidding me?
Sir, for over 80 years, folks have trusted your family to give the best customer service, a great selection, and the lowest prices possible.
And don't forget our free lifetime powertrain warranty on most vehicles on the lot.
Visit us in St. Peters
and at LondoffAuto.com.
Greenbox Capital, an alternative lender, is here to help small to medium-sized businesses with the funding needed to build back during these challenging times. And for a limited time, is offering 10% off the cost of working capital. Visit greenboxcapital.com/radio to fill out a short form and connect with a real advisor who will work with you to create the best funding solution. Mention the code RADIO to redeem your special offer. With funding as low as $3,000 up to $500,000 in all industries across the U.S., Puerto Rico, and Canada, Greenbox Capital can help with your financial needs today. Visit greenboxcapital.com/radio. Again, that's greenboxcapital.com/radio. Get the business funding you need while saving 10% off the cost of working capital. Visit greenboxcapital.com/radio. Greenbox Capital, fast funding for small businesses.
Here comes more of the Edge Morning Show.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/find. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/find. That's ZipRecruiter.com/find. ZipRecruiter.com/find.
Hey, welcome back to the show. You're listening to The Edge with Brendan Shanahan, Tabitha Hassell, and Vic Faust of Fox 2. Eric Johnson is with PRL. They got a big concert tomorrow night in Los Angeles, which is really cool, playing to troops at a base. I can't remember which base it is, but nonetheless, very, very cool. Chris, our fearless leader, is in Florida enjoying a little rest and relaxation, I guess.
Andy's actually working in the system right now.
Working on the system. He's supposed to go down there and have some fun, but he's still working on the system. Of course, we appreciate your listener and watching on Facebook, 100.7 The Viper. Of course, you can always share the show, 100.7 The Viper. We're also on YouTube at The Morning Edge. You can go there and subscribe if you will. It will as well. You can also give us a call, 636-695-2915. A big topic we've been talking about today. A lot of people still talking about it. I have, some friends who listen to the show texting me. Press conference at 10 o'clock coming up about the two murders that happened Saturday night. One on Del Mar in University City and the other one in Brentwood. Barbara Goodkin shot while driving in her vehicle. Dr. Sergei Zakharov shot multiple times, at least 5 times, while standing on the corner waiting for an Uber in Brentwood.
It's unbelievable,
in
isn't
Brentwood, which just blows your mind. Well, Major Case Squad, apparently with a break in the case, going to make an announcement at 10. That's me saying that because there's no way after having a long press
Correct.
conference yesterday that they're coming out today and going, and saying the same thing.
They must know something.
That I guarantee that they've made an arrest or they have the person in custody, something of that, or know where the person is, or will give information. You don't do that. It's just in 24 years of being in the news business, you don't follow up with something like that.
Not the next day without valid. That doesn't mean the investigation's over. It could just be beginning as far as tying cases together.
I didn't even think about that.
I think we'll have a lot more to talk about tomorrow than we do today, but I think it's an interesting case.
No, without a doubt. And of course, I said earlier, I know a family member of Barbara Goodkin's. They're beside themselves. My friend was with Stanley, who was driving his wife in the vehicle traveling eastbound on Del Mar when they were shot. Of course, his life was saved because he had a cell phone in his pocket of his shirt that the bullet hit and destroyed the phone, but saved his life. He was able to drive to the hospital, but unfortunately, Barbara did not make it. So that they're beside themselves. They want closure. You always want closure. It helps with healing anybody that's gone through anything traumatic. And right now, they don't have it, but hopefully they've been informed of something that goes on. And of course, you just want those responsible brought to justice. So that's where we sit. But that press conference is coming up at 10. You can watch it on Fox 2 or fox2now.com. Big story there. And of course, who knows? I mean, it was just so bizarre how these two shootings were connected to the same person within an hour, or people within an hour.
Agreed.
Of one another. Just so bizarre. So if you want to talk about that, we can talk about that as well. Also, the Israeli-Gaza conflict, the Palestinian conflict, that's in the Gaza Strip, it's not backing down.
No,
it's not
it's
getting
not
any
going to back
quieter.
down.
Joe Biden came out, if we want to say this, and he didn't make some hardcore commands to Netanyahu. He just said, I expect a ceasefire.
Correct.
There's not going to be, and Israel said, we're not ceasefiring. They're not backing off, and they're not going to back off. And now, you had Rashida Tlaib arguing with Joe Biden on a tarmac in Detroit yesterday. There's pictures of it where they're screaming at each other, literally like pointing the finger at each other on a tarmac before Biden had an event in the Detroit area. And then he called her he called her Rashid.
Oh, gosh.
At the press conference, he called her Rashid. And I'm like, oh, my God, that's... So she came out on Twitter and ripped Biden and ripped the Biden administration, because what you have right now is, and it was interesting, I saw a mainstream media report say the, quote, the progressives, the far left, or the left of the Democratic Party is against the United States sale of firearms or weapons to Israel, and against the position that we're standing that they have a right to defend themselves. And then all of a sudden, you heard Joe Biden go start talking. There's no doubt the left of the party is in his ear.
Well,
and especially after he's standing there getting screamed at in front of his wife by Rashida Tlaib, who's from Detroit.
Right. But, it's such a convoluted situation. This morning I heard that Hamas has said that they do see a ceasefire coming on their end. Well, they can only take so much pounding because now they've had hundreds of their
the Israeli
people
army
killed.
is literally destroying them. And
they are destroying them.
And the problem that you have in this, you hear the totals that are coming with deaths, women and children from
A lot of
the Palestinian side.
innocent
But then-
people have been killed.
And
correct.
then the Israelis go, well, if they're hiding behind women
Correct.
and children, what are we supposed to do?
Correct.
When you've already shot, and that's the problem. It's gone back and forth, we're not going to try
It
to break
has,
it down.
and-
Yeah,
There was
for hundreds of years,
there
this
was a
has been going on.
ceasefire in place. There was peace. Remember?
Yes.
When Trump was in office and there was major peace, and then all of a sudden, Hamas starts launching rockets.
Well,
that's how this started.
They
this
feel
latest round.
empowered. Hamas feels empowered with Biden in office. There's no question. Because a lot of people don't know this, but at one time, Iran, who obviously is socially, close to Hamas, Iran at one point said, you guys are terrorists because Hamas started backing the Sunni rebels that are against Iran. So Hamas said, okay, you guys are terrorists. We're not giving you any more money. Well, guess what happened? The United States picked up where Iran left off under the Obama administration. Obama started sending money back to Hamas once again, which allowed them to build up their arsenal of weapons. And then under Trump cut that funding down. He said, we know we're trying to help Palestinians, but all the money we're sending to you is ending up in the hands of Hamas terrorists. So he stopped that funding. Well, guess what? One of the first things Biden did, he picked up that funding again, and he started funding Hamas once again. I mean, I am not surprised at all that they felt emboldened in this attack because they have the funds to do it now. If Biden is supporting them, they have the funds to do it. And even if they do issue a ceasefire, Israel has said they're not going to. They're going to continue hammering them. And it is, I think it's highly unfortunate that this is happening on both sides. We need peace. I don't care who issues a ceasefire. We need peace. They need to both stop killing each other.
Well, it's not going to stop.
No, it's probably
This
not
is
going
one of
to
the
stop.
most defiant that I've ever seen Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister.
And
by
I
far.
get it. I mean, he's having hundreds of rockets shot into Israel every day right now. I mean, and they are hammering them back. But the problem with Hamas is they do hide behind the women and the children. And whenever Netanyahu's forces sent out that
but
message,
their side say that they don't.
well, but they do. And from what I understand, when Netanyahu sent out the message, his forces sent out the message that said it was a fake message that said we have troops on the ground, we're getting ready to invade Gaza. All of these people went into the tunnels, and then they actually bombed the tunnels. But the problem is a lot of the citizens went in the tunnels as well. It wasn't just Hamas members; it was citizens as well, and hundreds of people have been killed.
Okay, I'm just got a question. When you talk about ceasefires and peace, if Israel lays down their weapons or stops shooting, what happens?
They claim they'll be annihilated if they lay down their weapons. I don't personally agree with that.
If Hamas lays down their weapons, then what happens?
Well, Israel claims they're going to still continue to hammer them, even if they do ceasefire.
Really?
Yes, that's
Okay.
been a very public
So
statement.
if they cease
from
fire,
Netanyahu.
Israel says they're still going to keep going.
Correct.
I did not hear that.
Yeah, that's
So
been
then-
very public information.
Okay, well then that would be a problem. That would be
And
that would be an
that's gonna
offensive
be a
by
bigger
that would be an
issue.
offensive by Israel.
Correct. There's a lot of people, even on the right side now, calling
Because
Netanyahu out
I was
over
one,
this.
I would assume and guess, but I guess I'd be wrong, that if Hamas stopped as it was before, then this would stop, the whole thing would
But
stop.
according to Netanyahu, that's not correct. They think if they stop pounding them back, that they're going to be annihilated. They said that we will cease to exist if we stop. We're going to continue hammering at them even if they cease fire. And that's what a lot of people have a problem with
the
today.
goal being what?
I guess kill them all, get rid of all of Hamas, make them flee, make them leave, terminate them, get rid of the Palestinians, make them move. They call them Arabs, not Palestinians. Make them move out of the area. I mean, I don't think they're going to give up. I think this is going to end up escalating to something much more serious than what it is right
from
now.
the Facebook line, defense contractors are loving this from a financial standpoint. But Israel's getting about $720 million of United States weaponry that's going
And
to
at
be
the
on,
price of steel these days.
and it's going to be.
But we'll sell. We
they're
have to
gonna get-
remember
they're going to get 2 rockets.
we'll sell weapons to anyone. We deal with Saudi Arabia, who technically, really, even though some people say Saudi Arabia is our ally, they are actually our enemy. And we sold them like $265 billion in arms a couple of years ago. And these people, they don't like Americans. If you go into Saudi Arabia, I mean, Americans actually can't go into Saudi Arabia unless you're there working and you're watched very closely. I mean, they're not our friends. They're not our allies. But yet we'll still sell them weapons.
Well, AOC came out and said that Israel is purposely targeting women and children. And
Purposely?
I don't believe
No,
that.
they're not
I don't
purposely
believe that.
doing it.
Well, former U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, then came out and went after AOC, saying that they're not targeting.
I don't believe that, no.
You are either mistaken or intentionally lying. So she tweeted that to AOC, trying to make sure. But then Nikki Haley says, let's clear it up. She says Hamas is using civilians as human shields to hide behind while firing rockets.
I would say that's correct.
Israel takes extensive measures to minimize civilian casualties because Israel said this. They said we could go wipe it all out if we wanted to.
Of course. They're one of the most powerful militaries in the world.
They said we could wipe them out in a day.
They could. Absolutely.
But we're trying to be selective on how we keep them down. And, and then the other big thing that happened, the media wasn't targeted. A terrorist organization was. But if the terrorist organization is inside the media hotel, what are you supposed to do? It's the act of warfare. It's the art of warfare.
It is.
And it's not the first time we've heard of this happening.
And Hamas, they embedded themselves in the same building as journalists. Now, you can't tell me they did that by mistake. And you can't tell me also the journalists didn't realize their operations were there. And Joe Patterson made a good point that the weapons deal was actually worked out long before this conflict began. We did not sell them weapons because of this conflict.
Yeah.
We actually withdrew our troops. We took all of our troops out of that area and brought them back.
Have at it. Go at it.
So I was driving my daughter to school this morning, and she brought this up. She's like, well, what are they fighting over? I'm like, they've been fighting hundreds of years.
Yes.
And basically over a strip of land. She's like, how big is the strip of land? I'm like, it's sort of a metaphor, but it is basically a strip of land that they're fighting over. Why? Because they both want it and both believe that it belongs to them.
Agreed. And I really, and I'm not saying this just because I don't support Biden or the Biden administration. I really do think that their administration is, I know for a fact they've supported Hamas. So if they support Hamas, how can we expect them to stand up for Israel? And I don't think they are standing up for Israel, quite honestly.
It's kind of like having somebody on your team, but you're giving the other team the playbook.
I don't think the Biden administration has taken a side.
They haven't. They have not taken a side. And but they should be taking a side, but no, they are not taking a side.
And you say that again, why?
I think they need to take a side and broker peace between both, which apparently is what they're trying to do. But I think that if they're going to support Hamas, which is known for terrorism, I think they have to denounce Hamas. And they're not doing it.
Well, Hamas doesn't recognize Israel's right to exist. And they've said that publicly.
Exactly.
That's a problem.
And Israel doesn't recognize Palestinians' right to exist. It kind of goes both
Gaza
ways.
has about 2 million Palestinians who live there. And I am going to say 2 million Palestinians. I'm not going to say 2 million Arabs. I know you said that earlier. That doesn't sound right to me.
I agree. I call them Palestinians. Absolutely. And everybody has a right to exist.
Well,
Israel and the Palestinians.
Well, it's not just the United States, but it's the European Union that consider Hamas to be a, quote, terrorist organization.
Absolutely.
Right. That's a lot. That's a large group.
But yet all of these countries are coming out against Israel. Have you noticed that? They're all coming out against Netanyahu, telling him that he's being overly aggressive, that he needs to immediately cease fire. I watched a few different videos on it yesterday, and I was actually pretty surprised that the United States is one of the only countries that has defended Israel in the past. More so under Trump than Obama or Biden.
At some point, doesn't it just ever think to you in the logic, why can't we all just get along? It's one of the silliest wars in reality. It's one of the silliest wars to go on forever like this. But as far as, being that it's a religious war, that's where you understand.
Well, and it's the holy site, Jerusalem.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
you're also right on top of one another.
Yes.
Yes.
You're driving distance from your enemy. That's
you're a pitching wedge away.
That's the issue.
Well, and they have to come together at in Jerusalem at these their various religious sites. They have to coexist in those areas. It's when you have people with such opposite ideologies.
And it's Holy Land.
Exactly, it's Holy Lands.
For both sides.
It's a difficult subject. I actually don't even like talking about it. It is such
Yeah,
a
you
difficult
get in
subject.
trouble. You do.
You
You'll get in
You can't
trouble.
win on either
We're
side.
just trying to bring up what's going on.
Nobody's been able to win for 100 years. So
Right.
we're not going to solve it in
We are
here
certainly
in
not.
15 minutes.
No, we are not. The only thing we have to hope is that something happens. There's a resolution, and because I don't want to see any women and children, innocent people dying.
Oh, no, of course.
Well, we've been talking about a couple different subjects today. Just if you go to Creve Coeur Lake, and if anybody,
I'm so glad you brought this up.
well, you're talking about women and children and being safe. Okay, here's what's going on. An unknown assailant has been running around and groping women as they walk the trail at Creve Coeur Lake.
I know.
Women have reported several incidents happening as they've been walking on the trail, and out of nowhere, a man is sneaking up and grabbing their butt. The proper term, buttocks.
Yeah, and that's a very
Arse.
dangerous situation.
And that's what's happened so far. One of the victims said she was just walking on the trail 4:30 Sunday afternoon, and the guy came up behind her and just grabbed her and then went off running.
And he's young. And you know what this means? Any of my law enforcement friends that are listening will know this. This is how it all begins. It begins with somebody groping you, and then it proceeds to rape, and from there, potential homicide. This is how it often starts out. Serial rapists start out groping people, and then they escalate their behavior.
Just to groping, and they really?
The behavior from there escalates. You know, they try this, and they get away with it, and then they try a little bit more. This is a very dangerous situation, thinking that this guy is sitting on a bench in a secluded area of the trail, waiting for women to go by and groping them. And he is going to take it further if he is not
Well,
caught.
do you really know many women that go out on trails that are secluded by themselves in this day and age?
I've done it myself.
I tell my daughter not to. I wouldn't want anybody, any woman I know, love, any woman out on secluded trails by themselves.
It's And you would think
now,
dangerous
I don't know how
situation.
secluded
Creve
the
Coeur
area
trails
was.
are not.
Very
It's not like you're way off in
Yeah.
the woods, but still,
It
there's.
doesn't take, you know what? It
doesn't
only
take-
takes seconds.
Right.
It only takes seconds. As a matter of fact, there's a big trial going on right now with a girl named Molly Tibbetts who was murdered while she was out jogging. Now, she wasn't in a trail, but she was jogging through a street that had a field on both sides. You know what? It only takes seconds to grab someone and rape them and or murder them. And this is a very dangerous situation. If they don't get this guy and figure out who's doing this, this is going to escalate.
They said when she was walking up, one of the victims saw him on a bench, just looked like he was
Yes.
smoking a joint,
Right.
like a blunt or
Like
something.
a little
that.
brown rolled
A
cigarette.
brown hand rolled
What is-
cigarette equal
when,
blunt.
when he is caught, if and when he is caught, what would the charge be?
I would think several.
It's got
I
to be
don't-
attempted
it would
sodomy,
be-
right?
I don't know about sodomy, but it would be.
Really?
I don't know. I would assume it would be some type of assault because I mean he touched them in a sexual way. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Hopefully somebody will tell us.
Do your friends use pepper spray or something else if they're
I think
on the
people
trail, or a
should carry.
knife or
No one I know
mean,
does, but I'll tell you at this day and time, I will not go out and walk on a desolate trail if I don't have a weapon, an actual gun with me. I won't do it. I wouldn't do it.
I was going to at least something.
There's too many incidents. In like I said, I write a crime blog. You wouldn't believe how many incidents happen on trails with women either jogging alone or sometimes even in
Or
pairs.
yeah, have a buddy. I mean, regardless if you know what, I'm a large human, and if I'm walking on a trail in an area, I would probably be a little bit hesitant to do it on my own, even still.
From the Facebook line, we have a similar situation at the St. Peter's Recplex.
Wow.
This guy, quote, is filming women and children too.
I heard about that.
I did not
Yeah.
hear about that one.
And they've asked him to leave, and he said, "I can film."
No, and well, I have a friend who helped catch a predator at the Frontenac Panera Bread Company a couple weeks ago. His son, they walked in, his son goes, "Dad, there's a guy over there. He's filming that girl under the table." Turns
Oh, my
out,
gosh.
older guy wearing glasses was a tutor and tutoring several people.
Oh, no.
At that place. Long story short, sure enough, my friend sent his son out to the car. He went, act like he was getting a drink, and saw it. Sure enough, he took some pictures of the guy. He ended up, the guy ended up leaving, the girl left. He went to Frontenac police. They were able, by his picture, to go look at video. Guess what time the guy was there, by my friend's time. Found him in the car. They went to the girl, found out to the family, and said, "Listen, this is what's happening." Showed him the picture that my friend took of this guy taking video underneath the table. Found the guy, arrested him, and apparently had seized computers, and he'd been doing it.
Are you serious?
Oh my
So
gosh.
this is somebody who parents
Wow.
have trusted with kids to tutor in a public
Do
place.
you know how old he was?
He said 30s, 40s.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so did he have child pornography? Do you know?
I don't know. They said that they seized the computer. But
Wow.
but yeah, you
know
trust
what?
somebody to tutor your kids too.
People have to be observant. And you know what the big rule is? See something, say something.
Yeah, and he was like, "Yeah, should I even do this? Would it make?" But
Absolutely
he
do it.
And then Front Neck Police within a day were able to take care of that.
Oh
as
my
well,
gosh.
At least
He
according to my
probably
friend.
prevented children from
Well, you
potentially
never know.
being molested.
You never know, or at least continue to be violated by having
Absolutely
pictures taken
so.
of them. Hey, you're listening to The Edge. Brendan Shanahan, Tabitha Hassell, Vic Faust here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right after this. Right back.
The new abnormal.
This place is a nut house.
The Edge Morning Show.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/find. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/find. That's ZipRecruiter.com/find. ZipRecruiter.com/find.
Don't let quarantine ruin your summer. Jay's RV has just what you need to social distance on the road. St. Louis's exclusive Gulfstream dealer, Jay's RV has motorhomes, conventional trailers, lightweight trailers, and more. Plus, you won't believe the amazing deals going on right now with financing available. If you already have a trailer, Jay's RV offers service the way it should be, done right at the most affordable price around. Hit the road and have the summer you've been dreaming of. Jay's RV, located in Warrenton, Missouri.
Weber Chevrolet has been in business since 1902. No other car dealer in St. Louis of any brand can say that. Nobody sells more Chevrolet, period. Weber Chevrolet is one dealer with 3 roofs. In Missouri at Olive and 270, and in Illinois Metro East, Columbia, and Granite City. All easy to get to, just follow the 270 loop. Also, all online accessible at WeberChevrolet.com. Right now, Weber Chevrolet is open but very thorough in their cleaning, disinfecting, and social distancing rules. And don't forget, Weber Chevrolet service departments are award-winning and second to none. In fact, other dealers send their problems to Weber Chevy to fix. Now during this crisis, Weber Chevrolet has teamed up with Detroit to come up with awesome deals to help people save money and manage their budget. Discounts, incentives, and the ability to not make your payment for up to 4 months. Weber Chevrolet since 1902, WeberChevrolet.com.
If you want the best, don't settle for the rest. Come to F&S. F&S Collision Repair provides the best customer service, quality of work, paint color match, and paintless dent repair. They do it all. No job too big or too small. Just what your car or truck ordered. F&S Collision. Call today to schedule your appointment and get that car repaired. F&S Collision Repair.
Keep your resolution to quit cigarettes this time. Go to I Quit Vapor, 852 Bryan Road, O'Fallon. I Quit Vapor carries the salt nicotine systems, their latest juice flavors, and all of their pod systems. Let their staff explain why the salt nicotine system is so effective in helping you to quit cigarettes for good. It has a much smoother delivery and allows you to adjust the amount of nicotine intake. I Quit Vapor is still your one-stop shop for everything vapor. Keep your quit cigarette resolution this time. Go to I Quit Vapor, 852 Bryan Road, O'Fallon. Puff bars and disposables now available.
All right, is that a Q2 or Q3 expense?
Dwayne's CPA went MIA. To keep his books and his sanity, he needs to find a replacement ASAP.
Hey, Johnny, have you ever heard of a fungible good?
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Get a grip on your finances with People's Bank and Trust's new mobile banking service. You can now manage your accounts, check balances, transfer funds, and pay bills with ease and all from the palm of your hand. Activate your phone today by visiting us online at www.pbtc.net. People's Bank and Trust. Hometown banking the way it should be. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Now, back to the Ed Morning Show.
Hey, welcome back to the show. We got about a minute. You won't want to miss tomorrow's show. Go ahead, promote it, share the show, let people know. Colonel Joe Adams joins us at 8:15 right out of the gate. We'll get started right on time tomorrow. We'll take our break early. We'll get to Joe, and then we'll rock and roll with him for a long time. Once again, Colonel Joe came on last week talking about everything that he saw at the border. He worked it for 12 years. You know, most of you probably know who are listening. You won't want to miss Joe tomorrow when he is talking. And he brought this up out of nowhere last week. Listen, I'd like to come back on and talk about the gun trade and how guns are coming into the city and who's doing it and how it's happening and how we could take care of this gun situation and the violence real easy. He said if he was tasked to do it, he would do it in a heartbeat. He also said he would start a militia.
I can't. I want to talk to him about that militia so bad.
When I hear militia, you know, militia has a negative context.
It shouldn't, though.
It should.
It should not.
But
it doesn't mean we're all a bunch of crazy gun-toting.
It sounds crazy. The word militia just sounds
right-wing
crazy.
nuts.
I know. The country was formed with a militia.
That's right. And it'll be saved by a militia.
You won't want to miss it. Get us early tomorrow. Share the show, 100.7 The Viper. Then we've got St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell will join us at 9 o'clock as well. Looking forward to that interview as well. Thanks again, everybody. Have an awesome Thursday. The sun is shining, at least in the state of Missouri, it appears. Have a great day. We'll come back tomorrow, do it again with Brendan Shanahan, Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust at Fox 2. I'll see you tonight for Fox 2 News at 5. I'll be wearing some blue, and I don't know what kind of tie yet. It'll be a blue suit, though.
You had a nice tie on last night. I saw
I don't
a few
even
minutes
remember
of
what tie I wore last night.
It was like a blue stripe tie.
Oh, yeah. That's right. You forget pretty quick. Yeah, I'll be wearing makeup. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.